So today we are interviewing or talking to Nick Deeks, who's a director at WT Partnership in Sydney. So we're just going to ask Nick some questions on prominent issues that affect QSs in the industry today. So we'll get straight to it. Another big question that directors are always talking about is the quality of candidates that come out of universities and courses and their basic abilities as quantity surveyors, for example, measurement skills. So Nick, who's going to do all the measurement when nobody knows how to measure anymore?
That's a very good question. Whether measurement's still going to be needed. I think part of the problem as well with lack of measurement training and education in university is also the fact that measurement is done in a different way now, isn't it? It's being taught in a different way. So you've got Costex, you've got on-screen takeoff systems, architects have got building information management, BIM or BMI systems. So students aren't taught how you and I were taught when we were at university, how to do it on, with a scale rule, a piece of paper, and actually measure. Yeah. And that is one of the issues that we find when people come out of university. And universities are applying to us to teach people how to measure.
Wow.
And they send them away on, we have to send them away on a separate course, or as part of their overall training, they want the employer to be training students in how to measure. The university course doesn't actually teach them so much of measurement anymore.
You're saying the universities aren't teaching people how to measure how industry needs it?
They're not teaching that the subject matter of a university course doesn't have so much measurement as it used to have. When I did my degree, there was measurement 1, 2, 3, 4. There was measurement every semester, every year. Now I think measurement takes up one semester, one term in one, and that's it, 1 year. So they have hardly any training in it.
But you're almost saying is that the university courses are sort of too far ahead of where industry still is.
No, I think the university courses have just moved off to the side. I don't think they're too far ahead at all.
What I'm saying is that so you need people to be able to measure in a certain way, but the university courses aren't teaching them how to do that.
No, they're not teaching them how to do it full stop, not even in a certain way, because the course has been amalgamated from a project manager, a construction manager, development, QS, all becomes a building economics degree. So the QS component is only one component of the degree, whereas the degree used to be a degree in quantity surveying.
Big issue. Okay, and so as far as solutions to that, maybe solutions can come from institutions like the AIQS and the RICS. What do you think are the main goals, or should be the main goals and focuses of institutions like the AIQS and the RICS today?
The AIQS, with regard to measurement, the AIQS do produce a course, do run a course once every, I think they do it once every year. It's a long weekend or a 4-day course of intensive measurement. I think this year the RICS have joined with the AIQS to produce that course. As far as what the institution should be doing, they should be promoting in the universities and at schools, which is a subject we've been talking about for years, of trying to get people into the profession and trying to just promote the whole profession. It's not as well known here as it is in the UK. And when we've sat on the committee before with the RICS, we've talked about them going into schools and getting them. Once they're at university, it's generally too late. They've already decided what they're doing. They're already on a course. You've got to get people at school onto the university course. So, when I was at school, that happened when you were 13, when you made your decisions about what career path you wanted to take, and you then picked your subjects at age 13 that then took you through your O-levels and A-levels and ultimately onto your career. Sure, you could change once you've started work, but you've got to get on the right track. So it's getting earlier and earlier, and the RICS do have those meet and greet evenings with students, which maybe they're not as successful as they used to be. It's difficult trying to get people to come along. There's a certain amount of apathy from students that don't want to attend, don't want to turn up, but maybe they just don't know in the first place.
So, on that, would you recommend a career in quantity surveying to your children?
Well, having just damned the whole thing. Actually, I would.
Say it's a good career?
I would say it was a good career.
Yeah.
I was at University of New South Wales several months ago giving a presentation to some first-year students on this subject and talking about overall quantity surveying and just the interest factor in it. I mean, it is a good profession. It's a solid profession. It's a well-respected profession, and there's always something to learn. So it keeps you on your toes, and it's never something you're going to get totally bored of. You may get bored of the particular subject matter of what the industry that you're working on. It could be commercial, it could be residential, but that just ebbs and flows. You get a, depending on how the government stimulus is a good example of that at the moment. So most of it's residential or schools. People don't want to work on residential or school, but that's just the way you got to go with where the market is. But it's a long-term profession. It's you get a good grounding. You can there's a career path there. You can travel the world. It's a qualification. You can go anywhere in the world.
Exactly. All right. Would you say, and this is on a sort of an international theme, and mainly comparing Australia to the UK, is the service provided in Australia different to that's provided in the UK? QS service? I
think it is different, but I've been here for 15 years, so I can't talk about how the service is provided in the UK at the moment, but from when I left. The role here is a lot more pre-contract.
Right. What does that mean?
A lot more cost planning.
Right.
All of the smarts and the intellectual input is provided, getting the project up and running and getting the project up to appointment of a contractor. The post-contract period generally is not quite so important as involved as the pre-contract. In the UK, I was just chatting to a couple of guys last week, and their experience was nearly all post-contract. So there's obviously bigger jobs, more involvement on a post-contract role, and people would be out on site. I'm looking at that picture of the airplane up there, and they've got the Terminal 5. The guys had worked for 4 or 5 years on Terminal 5, and all they'd done is contract letting and variation and post-contract role. Never been anywhere near a cost plan. And so to try and transport people like that over to Australia is quite difficult because they have an in-depth post-contract role, whereas the post-contract involvement is not so in-depth over here.
But what would you also say about even so there's even before the cost planning starts? I think I used to be a QS in the UK, and the QSs used to get involved with appointing other consultants.
Oh, certainly. I mean, I think the position of the QS in the overall design team is different here. You used to be the first point of contact for the client. So you were the lead consultant. You would be involved in procurement and appointment of the architect, of the engineers, and the design team, and you were the client's representative in a lot of ways. We get that with some of our clients that are worldwide clients, and some of them that are from Asia prefer us to be the main contact point. But generally, it's the project manager. Used to be the architect, probably now more so the project manager, and the QS just gets pulled in, depending on how strong the project manager is and what he's trying to achieve, is at what level and at what time the QS gets appointed. But more often than not, you're brought in to try and mop up the cost or resolve a problem, as opposed to provide the smarts before it's going.
Before it gets that way.
Before we get a problem,
Because when I used to be a QS, a value engineering exercise or a value engineering workshop was often just cost cutting because it'd gone over budget.
You don't have them so much now, do you? You'll have them with RTA projects, government projects. Will still go through that role, but generally value engineering is a cost cutting exercise. And it's not. I mean, it's probably a misterm, really, isn't it? They're calling it value engineering, but where's the engineering? It's just value reduction.
Exactly. Cost reduction. But that sort of stuff should be done at the beginning, surely, when you've got sort of sketch design, rather.
As long as some detailed and rigorous cost planning is done and options are looked at, then you shouldn't get to the point of needing to do so much value engineering
or cost cutting. Okay, you're an expert in building services and infrastructure. Just on the building services side,